your job as town planner, what would you say is your most favourite part of your job? There's probably not one bit, but is there anything that you would say is your favourite part of the job?
Yeah, it's definitely not one part. I feel like I really like being on the sort of border between urban design and town planning, because I feel like quite often designers and planners and social scientists don't talk to each other. And what I really like in BDP, that because we all sit in the same office, there's actually a lot more talking to each other. Because I really believe in that you can't separate built environment design from the sort of social side of it, everything that's going on around it. So I think that's the favorite part of my job, to be able to engage in both of them and kind of have those conversations and realize how it's a holistic thing. You can't really just pick one.
Oh, thank you. Carmel, for you in architecture, I know it's your second year of university, so you're still learning, but what would you say today would be the most enjoyable part of your job? I know it's any time doing these kind of presentation things with me and roundtables, but yeah.
No, I definitely enjoy these too because I get to talk to so many other people and understand their ideas on what they're doing. But with mine, that's really tough. For me, I've always wanted to go into architecture, so I've loved it ever since. But I think now that I'm actually working in it, I'm starting to understand how you can go off on so many different tangents. Like I used to think it was just the architect who would, create and design the building, but it isn't. And especially working in BDP where we have all these different professions, being able to go and talk to them and understanding that you all have to rely on each other and constantly ask each other questions. It's not just the architect who builds the building. Like you have to talk to the town planners, you have to talk to the civil engineers. So I would say my favorite part of the job is probably that, being able to talk to all these different professions and understand architecture for me as an entirety. And yeah, that aspect of teamwork as well. I find at uni, it can be a little bit easier to, work things out by yourself and do your own projects. Whereas when you get into the actual career world, you realize it's the complete opposite. You have to do everything as a team. So that's probably one of my favorite bits. And also I quite like making some diagrams. I get some nice days of doing those too.
Thank you. Sam,
Yeah.
slightly different again because you're engineering and actually you've really grown in the company from 17 now 21. Can you give us an idea of what you would say your favourite part of the job or parts of the job are?
I mean, it's just hard to like pin it down on one point, right? But like, I do agree with Carmel. Like, I like the sort of like the multidisciplinary side. So like everyone sort of has to talk together, and that like what you're doing as a job, what impact it has on someone else in another discipline, and like how you all sort of have to come together to produce this one thing. But for me, I've always been sort of just interested in buildings in general. But since I've got more into the civil side, I've been interested to sort of like work out sort of how the drainage systems, road design, how everything sort of affects like the rest of the building, how it's such an important part of it. And it has to, like, the building is obviously from the bottom up, right? So we work below ground, and that's one thing that I thought that's always massive, especially the last couple of years doing my uni. Something that I've expanded on as well, and just realised that it's just so key to the way we build like our structures in real life as well as on the models and everything else. Yeah, I also enjoy the software side as well, so like using all the 3D and developing that side of my skills.